Hey, welcome to Innovation Corner. I'm Adam Ward, innovation consultant, speaker, and author. And today, I just want to talk to you about some innovation basics. So a lot of times, people wonder, what exactly is innovation and what isn't innovation? So I just had this short video, give you a little primer on what it is, some different elements about it, and why it's important to your organization, and where to go to get help. So the first thing is, let's define this. So the definition for innovation is the introduction of a new product or service. Okay, so that's important. It needs to be new. But not just a product or service, one that is to the market. Okay, so it can't be a prototype or can't be an MVP, and it must obsolete the alternatives. And I think that is a critical piece to when I talk about innovation, is that it obsoletes the alternatives. This could be a major obsolescence or a minor obsolescence. One of the things I think is very easy to talk about, if we look at time and we look at size, these two axes, and we go back to the 80s, so we go mid-90s, 2000s, and then we're going back up. This is cell phones. Now we got the 10 Plus, the 10S and the 10S Plus, or the Galaxy Plus. So over here we've got Motorola big bag phones, then we've got the Nokias in the 90s and this different very small Nokia handhelds. Got BlackBerry coming out, we've got the iPhone coming out, and we've got this change. Now today we're limited by our pocket size. We want to be able to fit this in our pocket or a purse, and we can't get these any bigger. If we want them any bigger, they have to be tablets. But the type of display that we have, the battery life that we have, the processing on what it's capable of doing is all still important. Now, we can get too fast, and I think Apple is seeing that with the 10S, 10S Plus. And the 10R is actually its number one seller at $750 introductory price, because the other two start at $1,100, and it's just too much for consumers. They can't tell the difference between the previous generation, and it's not worth the hassle or the additional bill on their contract. So when we look at obsoleting alternatives, we want to make sure that we never go back in time. So that very first thing right here, definition of innovation. Number two around innovation is that we have both the art side and the science side. Okay? This is very important that we distinguish between the two of them. Now, the art side, you may say, okay, let's get a bunch of smart people in a room, bunch of creative people in a room, and see what they come up with. Yeah, so we're going to have people who are creative. We're going to have people who can imagine. We're going to have people that have, pattern recognition. And honestly, if we look at this group of people, the more diverse, the better. So incorporate the different genders, different ethnicities, across the age spectrum, multi-industry backgrounds, and you're going to have a group that can and will do great things here in the art side of innovation. There's a bunch of tools and techniques to extract the most from this. Won't have time to go into that on this video. Just want to know that that is definitely around the art side. Now the science side is much more around the process. So we start it, maybe we iterate a few times, and then we have an output. Why process is important to innovation is so that we can replicate it. We don't want to get to a spot in our organization where it's unpredictable when high quality new products or services come out. We don't want one to work and obsolete and the next one to fail. When we have a process, we can allow this team to focus all of their energy on the creative aspect of it. Write the process down, follow it. If it's not working, tweak it. But don't do it ad hoc. Don't do it stand-up comedy routine every single time. You want to make sure that you have it exactly planned out, and you want to repeat it over and over again and improve it as you go. Lastly, when we're talking about innovation, we want to talk about its impact on the organization. So, is the key to future health. Much like the wild and animals, there is a significantly high attrition rate among organizations after they're launched. You can go to any small business bureau and you can talk to the people running it, and they say, yeah, most of the companies, the LLCs, the LLPs, the stuff that we set up, they fail and they end up going by the wayside. Now, once they get to a spot where they're performing well, it's very easy, and I see this over and over, and you can see I did the same thing as an adult. You get lazy, stop losing. We start losing our discipline, start paying attention to the wrong things. We allow inventory to bloat. We allow our profit margins to get a little bit smaller. We don't have a fresh portfolio, and we're very much in danger of everything ending. We can look at Montgomery Ward. We can look at Kmart, Toys R Us, some of these other organizations that once they got to this stage, they didn't have innovation in it, and that happened. Now, much like I did with my personal health transformation, we can use innovation to get back to fitness, get the organization back to fitness, to creating things that actually obsolete, the things that people want, that consumers are going to pull on, and that is critical. Now, one of the things that I want to talk about, we've got this definition here, we've got the art and science, we understand that it's our key to our future health. What are you going to do for help? So you may be out there and you may say, hey, I need help, SOS. There's a lot of places that you can go. Obviously, you can read blogs, you can listen to podcasts, there's books out there, there's seminars, conferences, different things that you can attend, and there's also coaches like myself that you can bring in. What I want to share, and very important for you guys, is to understand, use an innovator. So a lot of people will say they are innovation consultants. A lot of people will say they were innovators. The key distinction on having an innovator is, have they actually done something? And I'm not talking about run a brainstorm session. I'm not talking about becoming a certified Scrum Master. I'm not talking about having the ability to run a design thinking workshop. Someone who's sat behind a computer terminal, someone who's taken inputs or requirements, somebody who's looked at voice of the customer data, somebody who understands manufacturing techniques, has operated in a realm of constraints, and year after year has created patents and products and services that are released to the market. You want an innovator. Just like you don't want someone that doesn't know the sport and whatever you're getting coached on, you don't want someone who's teaching you about innovation who hasn't done it. Be very selective in who you have innovate. So, innovation basics, we've got this introduction of new product or service. So it's everything from idea to launch on that. You want to make sure that you're obsoleting alternatives. We have the art side with the creativity. We have the science side with the process. We want to make sure that innovation is the key to our organization's future health. We don't want to go this way of the dodo bird. We want to achieve health in the future and maintain it. And we need to know where we're going for help. And we want to find innovators who have actually done the work. Until next time, I'm Adam Ward. This is Innovation Corner.